So let's get this out the way right now because once Ed Reed becomes successful and leave and go to the next level, we're going to hear a lot of complaints. This is 3 years ago. He's confirming he wanted to coach and he want to coach at the NFL level. So we're going to watch this. We're going to review it. Make sure you guys hit the good old subscribe button. Let's get to
Go off of what I feel and what I see, a little bit of what I know, and just give a speech from the heart, man. That way those guys feel it. They know where I'm coming from. I played against Pittsburgh a bunch of times, so it wasn't hard, for that dislike, that hate to come out, and give it to some young guys who are in my shoes where I used to be.
Huh. And so, do you want to coach still? Because it sounds like
Coach Rich.
Head coach, HC Ed Reed.
Rich, I've been around a lot of great coaches. I've been around a lot of great organizations as far as university.
He had to correct him real quick. He like, yo, hey, head coach, get it right. I don't get my mic down here to cut off the. Actually, I do. I'll hook it up now.
Miami, even my Destrehan High School, and in Baltimore, I learned a lot being around a bunch of coaches. I can name a bunch of coaches I've played under, have worked with, and all of these relationships are partnerships. I'm talking about Coach Davis, Curtis Johnson, Art Kehoe, Don Solinger, Chuck Pagano, Coach Harbaugh, Coach Billick, Mike Smith, Mike Nolan, Terrell Austin. I've seen a lot of coaches, bro. So, hey, that's what's up, bro. Good.
The issue is most people don't realize these people been around coaches their whole life. Like his whole life, he been around good coaches. He been around Super Bowl winning coaches. So if he have that will and want to, he will be successful with it.
Good to meet you. I've been around a lot of great coaches that helped me to develop into the player, to the man, to the coach that I am, that I became. There's a reason why I was known to be a coach on the football field, because I was more like a Bill Belichick to make adjustments during the game, and I don't know, Rich. I wish I can get to a great situation. They seem to be giving coaches second chances who don't do nothing in certain organizations. Then they go to another organization, you expect the same results. That's insane.
If you look at the guy that was just an ESPN analyst that coached for the Colts, he didn't have no experience and he just you don't need no experience at this point.
It's insanity, ain't it, Rich?
I know. But I mean, I'm sure you've heard it, that because you need seasoning as an actual coach first, Ed, right?
I got 12 seasons in me. I got 3 championships of coaching flag football with my son. What I realized coaching in Buffalo,
Sure.
what I realized coaching in Buffalo and the spill I had in New York is that those same kids I'm coaching in my son's flag football game are those same kids that are in the NFL, Rich. So it's not a complicated game. I understand what all these.
And people make it harder than it's out to be because you can have, like I was looking at one of the people I did a video about somebody that Deion Sanders hired on his team, and one was like a NFL player that played for like multiple years. I didn't know he coached for Minnesota. He coached in the NFL, and he had a losing record everywhere. So it's like some people are just not made to be head coaches, especially in college. It's all about recruiting. You got the best players, you gonna win. It's just, that's how it is. You get the best players, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna win.
These coaches say it's seasonal and all that, but for the stuff that they do, that takes 90 hours a week, takes me and my crew maybe 60 or 70. The stuff that some of these coaches do in some of these organizations, there's a reason why some of them don't, or most of them haven't gotten to that stage where you see them making the playoffs year after year, or even 5 years later. You got guys that haven't been in the playoffs in 10, 20 years. It's crazy. What's really going on? So they need somebody like myself in these organizations, who know football, not just on the field, but off the field as well.
And you got to think at the college level, you want to get to the NFL. So the reason Deion is having so much success is not because just off of his market and media. That's percentage of is because he's the greatest to ever play this position. And these kids, you rub shoulders with that, he's going to get you in there. Ed Reed is the greatest to ever play his position.
There's a reason why I was known as a leader on and off the field. And of course that's stuff I would need to learn. But what coach is not learning on the job? What person is not learning on the job? You'd be a fool if you wasn't learning on the job.
Well, I guess you're looking. I'm looking right now while we're having a conversation. Ed Reed here. A few more minutes left with the Hall of Famer. I always love our chats. So I'm just sitting here thinking Aaron Boone of the Yankees was in the booth for ESPN, and now he's in the ALCS. And you're seeing in basketball some guys just get a gig when they're done playing, sometimes just strolling into head coaching gigs, right?
Steve Kerr.
Right. Juwan Howard, my head coach at Michigan, was an assistant for many, many years. But I'm just wondering, it seems in football that they'll never seemingly just take a player and just a Pro Football Hall of Fame player and just throw him on the sideline as an HC in the NFL, Ed. That's a tall order, don't you think?
That's their loss, Rich. And when they do it, they will see. They'll learn something about themselves. But I'm an outspoken guy. I've been outspoken. Always did. And I always said the NFL is a reflection of our country. So.
And you got to think, this is 3 years ago he was already hip to this. So he's been trying to find the best opportunity because he didn't want to have to wait. He's 44 years old, young age. He didn't want to have to do all of these years behind somebody else. Let me get somewhere where I can be the head coach, dominate, win, and go to the next level.
So there you have it. There's a reason why they don't do certain things. There's a reason why when I was in Buffalo, certain coaches, whose names I won't say, looked at me as a player and not a coach. It was very disrespectful. It was very disheartening when I'm coaching better than you are. You teaching by the book. I can teach by the book and coach you, technique and all that stuff. So I know what I could do. I know my capabilities. I've been through what they call the gauntlet. I've been around these coaches. I've sat in coaches' meetings on Mondays and Tuesdays. I got coaches that can vouch for that. I got coaches that can vouch for that. So I'm not really concerned about not having certain time, with the teams and stuff like that. There's a reason why I'm doing the grind, the show with you.
Right.
Because there's some respect there on Ed as a football player to where somebody knows he can be an analyst, but go in there and critique film and look at it from a different perspective. So the resume is built, Rich.
Well, I also know Belichick thinks extremely highly of you, and we've seen NFL films footage of Brady and Belichick game planning just for you, knowing what you've done, X's and O's wise, and what you're capable of doing. At least I know that. That's for a fact.
There you go. There's a reason for that, Rich. Because I am going to put the time in to study to know my opponent. You don't
become the 3-time NFL interception leader without studying film, comprehending and understanding and utilizing it in the game, unless you understand, each quarterback react different and he understand. Oh man, come on, dog.
I am going to put that work in. So that's one thing the organization will be able to count on, is that he's going to put the work in.
For more of the Rich Eisen.
Let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, like button, all that good stuff, and we gone.